Hello and welcome. Chris Principe, publisher of Financial IT, coming to you live from Money 2020 in beautiful Amsterdam, the Netherlands. We have a great event, likely the best event that you could have a chance to come to in Europe, and we're in a great host city. And I'm with a great person. Adam, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great, Chris. Thank
Great.
you so much.
Adam, tell us a little bit about the company.
Well, Ixopay is the world's leading enterprise payments orchestrator out there. We've been around since 2016. We recently merged with a US company called TokenX, becoming an even larger entity with a large team in the US, a large team in Europe. And, with our product suite, with our platform, we cater to the needs of world-leading global merchants, global iconic brands that use our solution to really manage payments at scale across the world, across payment methods, across acquiring partners, alternative payment methods, the full shebang, if you will, of payments with all the complexity that global deployments entail.
Well, I tell you, it's quite a breadth of stretch and space that you're going through. And with this new acquisition, where do you see that in complementary for what your business has been?
Well, so I think that, the evolution that our company has taken is really also driven by the needs of our merchants, right? Who operate globally, who have very complex sets of requirements, and who benefit from us having these large teams on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean, right? Now, with a large team in Europe, a large team in the US, and bringing together deep technical know-how across the entire life cycle of payments, the entire life cycle of payment instruments and payment transactions themselves, and being able to offer a solution that is not only integrated and enterprise grade, but also, when needed, modular to solve specific pain points with within specific organizations that we work with.
So that was interesting for me, because when I think of orchestration, I think of like everything, and that's a lot to do. But you just brought up being able to deliver parts of the solution so that you're addressing specific problems. Can you give us a little more there?
Well, certainly. So I would say that, different companies, different organizations are often at a different stage in the evolution of the payments function, right? Some choose to build more in-house, some are very mature. Others don't have necessarily the expertise or the inspiration or the need to build themselves, and prefer to source an integrated platform. So with the product portfolio that we have today, we can cater to both sets of clients, if you will. Those that have these very mature payment setups and that are looking for evolutionary iterations, maybe adding certain capabilities, and also those that are looking to replace maybe an outdated tech stack with an integrated platform that covers the full gamut of their needs. I believe that at the end of the day, most large merchants, most large payment companies are naturally gravitating towards what we would consider full scope payments orchestration, right? But the ways to get there are varied and numerous.
Yeah, no, and I can understand that. So when you deliver on a modular basis, let's say, right, is that a lot of times the stepping stone to get to full orchestration?
Well, as a salesperson, I would say absolutely, right? Like that would definitely be our intention.
Yeah.
If we can solve one small need today, then we'll hopefully get invited to solve more needs in the future, right? But certainly, I think that the foundational layer for any orchestration platform or project starts at tokenization, and that's something where the TokenX side of the business brings a wealth of experience, a great reputation in the market, a very mature and capable product. On top of tokenization, you then build all of the components, all of the layers that together make up what you would consider an orchestration platform today. So that can start with payments acceptance, checkout optimization, basically getting the transaction into the system, continuing through anything risk-related, screening transactions for potential fraud patterns and fraud signals, taking a decision as to where a transaction ultimately has to flow to, right? What is often known as routing or smart routing and orchestration. And that's very often also where most people's perception of orchestration ends. They think, well, the main function is simply take these decisions, send it to gateway A, gateway B, acquirer C, or bank D. the reality that we see, especially with the merchants that we work with, is that yes, there is this fragmented, complex payments ecosystem to deal with out there, right? That requires orchestration, that demands kind of a single entry point and something that helps you connect to all of these different players. But we also see that there is an insane amount of internal complexity with globally operating organizations. They don't have one ERP system, they have multiple. They don't have one CRM system, they have multiple. They don't have one brand, they have sometimes many brands with different requirements. And so feeding and reconciling payments data back into such complex IT environments is its own category of orchestration. So I truly believe that if you want to play in the enterprise space with an orchestration platform today, you need to credibly address both sides of that picture. You need to be able to, of course, offer the connectivity, the reach that such merchants demand, but you also need to understand and be able to represent the internal structures and complexities that these companies have internal.
Well, look, you've taken something that sounds very complex and made it sound very simple. And I'm sure you do that for your customers. One of the things that we've been hearing here in Money 2020 is payments that are AI fueled.
Yeah.
What's your feeling on this?
So I think that AI has played a role in payments for a very long time. I think that machine learning models have been applied, for instance, in fraud detection for a long time, are very mature, are very effective. And what we see is that coupled, of course, with rules-based systems to represent edge cases, for instance, which are often difficult for an AI to catch, and adding a human in the loop to add for manual verification of specific transactions, you get the best-in-class fraud solutions out of these kind of setups, right? But we see AI being applied in a wide variety of aspects, if you will, of payments, right? It starts with AI-assisted developer experience, AI-optimized checkout pages. We see also conversational AI being used by certain payments players in an attempt to improve the efficiency of customer support operations. I do think that there is a hype curve that this topic is following, right? And it will take a little while until some of the more, let's say, bleeding edge topics reach a certain level of maturity that they find broad acceptance. But I am convinced that we are moving towards a world where agentic AI is going to play a bigger role, where payment transactions are going to be initiated by autonomous agents. And I do think that for these kind of agents to work, for such kind of transactions to work, you still need a similar base in terms of payments technology, namely portable tokens, network tokenization, universal tokens such as those that we offer, because they will, at the end of the day, be the payments instruments that these AI agents interact with and transact with.
Well, hearing your views on AI, and it makes the future seem very exciting. And, we're here at Money 2020, where we're hearing a little bit of the future and a little bit of everything going on. Why did you guys choose to be here?
So I think we've been here since, at least since the day I joined the company. I think it's really a fintech family meetup, right? Everyone in fintech, everyone who has an opinion, something to share, a product to sell, wants to be here for the visibility, for the exposure to not only to merchants, but also to other ecosystem players. At the end of the day, payments is a networks industry. And any payment transaction that flows today over the open internet will travel through a series of different platforms and systems operated by different companies. So this is really the place to make connections, to meet these other players in the ecosystem, to come up with common value proposition, common solutions for global merchants. And so I love being here. Every year it's a fantastic event for us, and we'll be back next year for sure.
Well, great. Truly one of my favorites also. And when we start looking and you talk about next year, can you talk a little bit to me and give me some of your view on the future for the business, especially with this acquisition? And more importantly, what are some broad things we can look forward to in the future?
So I think we will keep growing. At the moment, we consider ourselves to be the leading enterprise payments orchestrator on the market today. We're continuing to grow profitably. to add marquee brands to our client roster. And we have always been very client driven also in our approach to product development. So as we keep adding new clients to our portfolio, they bring their requirements to us, and we find ourselves implementing not only additive changes to our product, but sometimes completely new products that form part of our portfolio. I cannot tell you too much about what we will be showing off next year, but what you will be hearing from us is that we are keeping up our fast growth, that we are likely acquiring additional companies until we meet again next year. And I'm really looking forward to flying to the moon with this company.
Wonderful. Adam, really appreciate you spending some time with Financial IT. I wish you the best of success going forward. And yeah, it's a date. We'll see each other next year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you. Chris Principe, Financial IT.